everyone, I'm Kirsty. Welcome to Crumble Homestead. Today I'm going to be making some apple crumbles out of some Bramley apples that aren't storing well. Hope you enjoy. Sorry about the lighting. It's only 4 o'clock but it's December, so I've got the big light on. So these Bramley apples aren't storing very well. So we have got some stored that are perfect, but these ones are the ones that need using up. We've already got plenty of apple juice, apple pie filling canned, things like that, so I just want to make a lot of apple crumbles, one for tonight, and then the others unbaked that can go in the freezer for over the winter. It saves these going off. So I'm just going to start peeling and coring all of these. Any decent bits I will put to make apple scrap vinegar. I will link my video above if you haven't seen that one. Or it will go in the compost. Sorry about the shaking. It is because I keep knocking the stand as I'm peeling. So I'm just going to peel them, chop them into small chunks and add them to this water. I'm just going to put a squeeze of vinegar in so they don't go brown while I'm doing it. So I've got quite a lot to get through because there's a few layers here. Done. There's not as much waste as I thought, so there's only about 3 apples that weren't usable, so I'm going to pop them in the compost. These will make apple scrap vinegar. That is packed full of apples, so I'm going to tidy up and we'll move on to the next bit. Going to do the topping now. So in here I've got 600 grams of flour. This is bread flour. It's the one that I didn't like making the sourdough with, so I'm using it up. To that, I'm going to add 350 grams of brown sugar and give it a little mix. Then to that I'm going to add 400 grams of room temperature butter, and I'm going to rub that in so it goes like a sandy breadcrumby texture. This might take me a while because it is quite cold in the dining room, so the butter isn't quite as soft as it normally is. I'm making quite a big batch because of the apples that I've got left. I want to use them up, but what I'll do, I'll put this batch recipe in the description, but I'll also put a quarter batch in case you just want a few. But it does, unbaked, it really does freeze well, and you can just pop it in the oven from frozen. It works really well. It's just nice to have a dessert in. We're just rubbing it between our fingers like when we're making pastry. And it will eventually get there. Took a while, but I got there. As you can see, it's like a sandy, crumbly texture. There's a few little butter lumps, but I'm not too worried about that. It will add to the nice texture. In this bowl I've got 150 grams of oats, so I'm going to put most of them in now and give it a mix in, but I'm going to leave about a third of them to sprinkle on top of the crumble. It will just give it a nice crusty top. And I'm also going to put a few pinches of nutmeg in. So if you've got ground nutmeg, that works just the same. I've got whole nutmeg. I'm just going to grate a little bit of that in. You can also add cinnamon, but my hubby absolutely despises cinnamon, so we don't add it. Just needs a little bit, it's quite strong when you use these. It smells lovely. Now it's time to assemble. I've greased this blend dish just with the back of the butter paper. So now I'm just going to start loading it up. I'm hoping to make 2 of this size and then a few that size that can go in the freezer. What I'll do, I'll assemble one and I'll come back at the end when they're all done. I've got 100 grams of sugar in here, but this is going to cover all 4. So I'm going to put about 75 grams in this one, just over the top. And 1 level tablespoon of plain flour. So what this does, it all melts and then the flour thickens it up. So it's a nice saucy bottom. Going to add a bit more nutmeg to the filling. And give that a mix in. And then we're just going to flatten it down a bit so all the topping doesn't just fall through. And I'm just going to use my hand to get the topping and just pop it on. You don't need to press it down, because if you press it down you won't get that nice crumbly texture. You do want to add plenty. Now I'm just going to add a small handful of oats to the top. And a little bit of that brown sugar. That will just make it nice and crunchy on top. And there's one ready to bake. So I'll assemble the rest and come back when they're all done. From the mixture and the apples, I was able to make 2 big ones, 2 smaller ones, and then that's a full tub of the topping, which is ideal. That can go straight in the freezer like that, and you just get it out before you want it. It doesn't take long to defrost. I have got some canned apples in the pantry, so that'll make a nice apple crumble one day, or even rhubarb, depending on when we use it. I'm going to give these 2 smaller ones to my mum and dad. To bake the big one, what needs to be in a preheated oven, gas mark 5. I will put the alternatives on the screen now. Takes about 35 to 40 minutes, so it should be bubbling through the apple, and the top is nice and dark and crumbly. For the smaller ones, these are quite deep, so they'll probably take a similar time. So they're a lot shallower than them ones. So I'll probably put them in the same, but I will put a piece of greaseproof paper over the top for the first 20 minutes just to make sure the top doesn't overcook. I will put the how to cook from frozen on there now. I'll need to look at my notes to see how long it took last time we cooked them. And if I can, before my hubby gets it, when it's freshly cooked, I will put an end to this. I'll see you in a moment. I hope you have enjoyed this video, everybody. Thank you for watching. Bye.